Hello guys, Nexus Productions here, and happy Canada 150. Awkward clap above the camera. So yes, a little update. From now until the end of the year, I will have this flag taped up onto my backdrop. Even though it's not the flag. Anyway, today let's get into that review I promised you a couple weeks ago. Yeah. So guys, today we'll be reviewing a figure that's near and dear to my heart. Wait, no, we're not reviewing Sound Blast. Okay, so today we'll be reviewing a figure near and dear to my heart and that I bought less than 3 years ago, and not him either. I'm talking about RID 2015 Windblade. This one! Right here! How hard is that to get? All truth be told, this figure isn't that near and dear to my heart. Those last two figures were a bit closer. But this one does bear mostly the colors of my country, unlike the other two, which, well, let's just get back to this. So before I get into the review, I must say that when I'm talking about the paint job, I will be disincluding certain additions I've made. The black at the end of the tail fins and here, that was applied by me, and as well as on the cufflinks. So please disregard anything I say about those pieces, but otherwise, this figure basically has no paint. Let's get into the vehicle mode. So, first issue, as you can see here, is that these wings are extremely loose. This wing stays down fine. This wing, it pretty much always pops up. You have to adjust the shoulders constantly, or else, yeah. Another issue is the gun, which, if you don't put that away, never sits straight, no matter how you position the legs. But, you know, who's going to have the gun sword even stored up on this thing? Get out of here. Go, shoo. Shoo. Off camera, please. Otherwise, this is actually a pretty neat alternate mode. Definitely better than Windblade's previous generation's toy, which this is a remold of. And look, see? Just popped up. Definitely better than that previous toy, because now these wing pod things, they're separate from the wings. Get it? Separate from the wings, and can go back and forth. A lot of people like to display it like this, which is completely wrong, because then Windblade would be flying in reverse. Because that makes sense aerodynamically. So I pose it like this, so that way, see, look, the back is covered. How is it supposed to propulsion? You make no sense. Yeah. Otherwise, there's not much revealed on top. However, like Lazy Abra reviewer says, it's not the top of the plane that matters, it's the bottom, because this is what you're seeing most. And yeah, it's like 20% robot under a jet. However, it's more like jet on the back of a robot. Yeah. But you know what, I don't mind it that much. So yeah, other than the rotating wing pods, there it goes again. This figure has the tail fins, which are incredibly okay. Definitely, you can see the shins a lot less. I mean, there you have the kneecaps, but otherwise it makes a pretty convincing fuselage, the worst part being the toes just hanging out back here. And the front actually looks pretty neat. Kind of wish that they done the silver around the side so that way it doesn't look horrifically awkward. Replayables fix this. Yeah. Some nice detail in the wings here, as we can see we've got some vents and more vents, probably air scoops. More vents under here. We got a fold-out landing gear, also. That's another thing I painted. It's kind of coming off. But, yeah, and it's not symmetrical, too. Kind of. Is it? No. Here you can see it's connected. Here it's not. So that's neat. So I guess I've said all that I can really say about the vehicle mode. I mean, yeah, you can kind of see how this thing transforms. So let's get into it. First things first is, however you have the things positioned. position them so that they're pointing down. Fold up the landing gear right back here, and come back to the tail fins, pop them out of place, and fold them up onto the back, just like so that they're accordions in this awkward position. Lift up this flap, which you don't actually need to do. I mean, watch. See, look. This is wasted money, Hasbro. Yeah, just lift that up and plop it onto the back, and then if both the wings haven't done it already, just plop them right up, and then there you go. That's about 2/3 of the jet just hanging off the back. But, you know, that's kind of expected of female Transformers. Hasbro, why? Don't worry, they're kind of sort of fixing this issue. Thank goodness the next one's going to be a remold. Just don't lose your heads over it, guys. Combiner Wars down the legs. Yeah, turns out something good did come out. Combiner Wars. And then you can separate or just leave them together, but you want to fold the tail fin into the shins, and that will in turn bring out the high-heeled boots, the typical of Hasbro high-heel boots. And then rotate the waist around. Keep your fingers out of this area. Thank goodness Jobby hasn't reviewed this. And then, yeah, that's the robot mode. I will get a box and raise it up. That's too high. Oh, shit. Oh, well. There we go, that's fine. So yeah, this was Windblade in robot mode. There's not much more paint reveals. We've got white on the face, gray here, and some yellow. We've got blue stripes going down her, I'm gonna say, jacket piece. I'm not gonna say boots because that's not really what they are. We got some silver here at her waist, and just touching it makes me feel awkward. Yes, this awkward phase with these Transformers. Why do they all have to look like this? We've still got the blue on the shins, and we've got this this red color. I don't really know how to describe it because it looks so terrible, but I mean, at least the shins aren't black. I'm just praying Rapper Labels will fix this. So, yeah, other than that, there's not really any paint reveal. Oh, another feature is that these spin, but just barely. These are the same pieces, though, from that previous deluxe. So, another piece that's the same is this back fin right here, which sticks entirely way too far from the back of the head. I mean, you see where this crown starts? It should be, like, just behind that is where this should be. Yeah. So, this is removable, and you can use it as a fan, because I'm fairly certain that somewhere in the design of this fan character, fan-made character, god damn it, Hasbro, maybe it was supposed to take on, well, like, Asian, how do I say this in a way that doesn't offend anyone? Asian continental historical stuff in the past where they would use fans and wear these big flowered dresses, but not all of them. I'm not saying all of them do that or did that. I'm just saying, like, how you see in paintings. So yeah, that's why that sits so far back. And that is another piece from the previous one, and maybe the biceps area? Okay, I think this is getting too awkward for my own good. Let's just move on to articulation. The head is on a ball joint, which means it's also a swivel. And looks down that pathetically far. And looks up that pathetically far, which makes for some okay aerial poses. I mean, you can't have it going straight forward, but, you know, with all that, you're not even going to be flying anyway. The arms are on ball joints, so they go all the way around, except they don't because of biceps are on another swivel, except they kind of seem like they're detented. I mean, like, it'll snap into place here, but then just goes normally, which is strange, and excuse it, there's people watching Harry Potter in the background. Wrists do nothing, but the elbow bends to, I want to say, definitely above 90 degrees, probably like 98 degrees. Hips are on another ball joint, go in and out, about that far out before you destroy something. Oh, these touching it in awkward places. Am I gonna get arrested for sexual harassment? Oh, jeez. Is it worse that I'm now sounding like Jeff Goldblum face raped Mark Wahlberg? There's a swivel here, fellas. Yeah. And as you can see, a little thing here is if you try to switch around the hips, you can't because this one has a little thing and only this thigh has the cutout for it, and this one doesn't. So I think that's because the children in China can't differentiate between what's supposed to go where. The knee bends to not very far, and it should bend farther, but guess what? You can kind of double knee it with this joint, and that looks fine. I mean, like, up to here it's fine. So that's good. That's fine. And then heels, the feet, kind of are angled at an A stance sculpt. Kind of. But they do go forward and back. So you are able to get some okay poses. But it's not enough poses for a figure that kind of deserves a bit better treatment than just this. Because, I mean, this is a character made by the fans. So this is kind of pathetic. And to be honest, I don't know what's a worse representation of Windblade. This or the Combinivores Machinima. Anyway, so Windblade does come with a weapon. It's this gun sheath. As you can see, there is some sculpted detail in here, which makes it look like a gun, and there's also a handle here, so that it looks like a gun. This is also another remold of that piece, and you know what? Yeah, that's fine. I can see her being a sniper. Much more effective than being, this toy at least, much more effective than being a swordsman. However, it kind of looks dopey if you take out the wind saber piece. The wind's not a lightsaber piece. Look how dopey that looks. It needs a bit more bulk to the back of it if you wanted to make it look like an actual gun. Yeah. The piece can also be held this way, right here, another handle sculpted into it. That's the same handle from before. And I guess this is for like the pose where she's pulling it out. I'm just gonna say Hasbro, because Hasbro is kind of making me say this about the figure. She's pulling it out and it doesn't actually work. Yeah, so the sword itself is also the same thing, except it's completely black. Not that I'm saying it's a bad thing. It's actually better for people who want to paint it. But, you know, if you wanted to have Windblade with two of these swords, and you got this one hoping, oh, hey, it's the same mold. It's gonna be just like the first one, except it's not because it's all black. But you can probably paint both of them, and it'd probably look better anyways. Yup. But while she's holding the sword in that hand, there are tabs on either side of it, and there's this big gap in the hip, Hasbro, that can just be slotted in right there. However, if you want to have the holster on the hip, then don't use this one, just use the previous one, because this big thing, it collides with this, and then you can't move the hip whatsoever. Remember when I said I like this toy? I don't really know. But other than that, there's really not much to say about it. So, yeah, Windblade, RID 2015 Windblade from Hasbro. What's the verdict on this toy? It's alright. The paint could really be better. This figure's way too red. I don't really care though. I have been planning to paint this figure to either how I would like it or to represent the show, but I think I'm leaning towards more how I would like it. But to be honest, I'm not really worrying it about this now. For what it is, I mean, this is $19 where I come from, so it's good for that price. It's alright. Oh my goodness, I completely overlooked the waist swivel. Well, you know what? You saw that because you saw the transformation, and I'm not saying you're dumb, but yeah. Now, I'm not saying that the previous figure was better. That figure was actually not very good. This figure is definitely a lot better of a representation of Windblade and the character itself. The much younger looking face than previously, I feel, fits Windblade a lot more than the old woman face. And the articulation's pretty good for what it is. I mean, you can get some of these stances you can have for you can have her with her sword, maybe cutting down a mofo, like this dude, just going all like, you shall not continue to live, even though these characters never really interacted in the show. But you know, you can get these guys and you can have them fight. Yeah, it's dead. Unfortunately, the show isn't. So yeah, if you can find it for a pretty good price, then this Windblade figure is definitely worth it. It's fun to handle. The backpack is horrendous, but there is a way to remedy it. However, it gets even more in the way. You can take this piece, pull it back down, just have it loosely hanging there, but then this, it folds down even more. And now if you look at it like this, it's not obstructed, and that's just dark enough to not even be seen. So, yeah, pick it up if you can find it at a good price. The Titans Return one, I'm not sure if I'm going to get that one. Maybe, maybe not. It really depends on things. But you know what? Happy Canada, 150th. Canada, 50 more years. 50 more years of Nexus Productions. Season 9 of Rick and Morty. 90 more years, Rick and Morty. Oh, Rick. I'm not really too sure about getting this figure, you know. Shut up, Marty. You gotta get it. Get it now. Get it. And sign it off. Mention here is some size comparisons with Windblade. Here is RID 2015 Quillfire. Pretty good figure, in my opinion. I mean, it's pretty good for what it is. It's like, these figures are okay, really. Here is Transformers animated repaint of Soundwave loose jointed Sound Blaster, who I pulled off my shelf and is probably turning to dust as we speak. And considering that Nexus is currently away on vacation, apparently, I don't know what's going on with him. I haven't seen him in a couple days. Here is Aristoteles. He's absolutely massive. There you go. Aristoteles, everybody. You're not crosshairs for the week. You're trench coated, not crosshairs for the week. So yeah, that'll be it. Thanks for watching. Yo, signing off.